You've worked with some pretty famous people, danced with them, helped them choreograph them. Can you give me a little bit of insight of what they're like if I just hit you with their name? Just something we might not know or something you remember about them. Nicole, one of them. When you dance with her, what's that one thing where you're like, Nicole is like
Nicole's
this?
a perfectionist.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like beyond perfectionist. She's one of those artists that is standing there with the room of dancers, giving her dancers corrections behind her. I remember we were in rehearsal and she asked me if I could move one of the dancers that was off her shoulder to the outside because they were distracting her because they weren't getting the steps right.
You could feel it.
And it's crazy, the artist is normally the one who's like trying to get up to that dancer level because their main craft is singing, but she's just as good of a dancer as she's a singer, so that's something about her.
Okay, perfectionist. Michael Jackson, you spent some time dancing with him.
Yeah, I danced for him first when I was a kid.
Okay.
I was 14 or 15, I can't remember where it happened in the year. And then I got to work with him as an assistant choreographer on an award show, 2001. What I will say about Michael, he was the sweetest guy in the world when I first met him as a kid, because you think this global icon, and I turned to stone when I met him. It was just an awestruck moment, but he made us feel so relaxed and at ease. He came over and was straight into conversation with all of us. So you think celebrity, they're gonna be cold and turned off and not really involve themselves in people that are below them. But it was great to see that he was completely down to earth, that there was no one higher than anyone else. And I think that's a problem, in the industry. Is the bigger that you get, you start to think that you are over people that are below you, and we're all the same.
And when you're dancing with people together, that probably puts a lot of barriers up.
Yeah.
Between you and the troupe. They had that whole documentary movie that was showing him behind the scenes when he was doing his whole O2 performance.
Yeah, this is
here.
it.
Yeah, and it was. I watched a bit of it, and I could see how he was relating to a lot of younger dancers there. It's fascinating. I mean, they were just so in awe of him, as you would expect.
I mean, we say Peter Pan syndrome, and Michael was a dancer too, and I feel like he had that same thing. It's the inability to really tell yourself that you're the age that you are and how you're supposed to act as that age.
Right.
I refuse to act a certain way because of the age that I am.
Right. He took that to the next level in all aspects of life. So
Completely.
that can be a great thing, but also that can means that you're in that all the time.
I'm a little deluded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I'm delusional. I do think that I'm 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
That could be a good thing. Britney Spears.
Uh-huh.
You spent time with her. What was that like? When you say, okay, Britney is like this, or I remember this, or what comes to mind?
Britney is a goofball.
Okay.
That's what I will say about Britney. Being around her from the time that she was 16 years old up until, she had children and she's in her 30s now. She's a nut. She's a practical joker. She loves to play around. And I think that was the thing that excited me the most about her. I started dancing with her before I started even choreographing or doing any other work for her. And just as a dancer, she was just part of the gang, part of the team. It felt like a family. So I loved that about her. Again, there was just no separation between artist and dancer.
Okay. What do you mean by that? No separation of artist
Well,
and dancer?
there's sometimes a lot of separation. An artist's schedule, the singer's schedule, is demanding. They're doing press, they're doing interviews, and they're running into a rehearsal. So sometimes I've been with artists that keep it strictly business. They show up, they do their rehearsal, there's not a lot of conversation, they leave the room. Then you have someone like Britney who is there hanging out the whole time. When there is a moment down, she'll want to get together with all the dancers and the choreographer and go out to dinner, plan little events. So it's that family environment that I think is really appealing, and I think it keeps everyone happy at work.
Okay. Beyonce.
The best dancer ever.
Really?
There's just something about her drive and her work ethic when she's performing. She doesn't want anything else to be better in the world than what it is that she's putting on the stage. I think that she's the Michael Jackson of our time.
Huh. Wow, because Michael was the same.
Michael was the pinnacle of what a pop star should be. And I believe that now Beyonce, with the dancing and the singing and the spectacle, she's achieved that level.
And that's because
as a female,
she's obsessed with that perfection of being the best she can possibly be.
She's obsessed with getting better. It doesn't, get to that level where, okay, I've arrived. It's what's next. How do I continue to grow and be stronger and put on a bigger spectacle and a bigger show?
Yeah, I saw her at the O2 like a year or two ago, and she just, she popped out of the floor in the very beginning, and she just stands there. And she
It's
stood
the
there.
Michael stance where
Is
you
that it?
stand
She's
and the
just like,
crowd is
"Bam."
screaming and you just look around at them
gosh.
and they're waiting for you to do something. I mean, that she has that. She's that captivating.
Yeah, I was like, wow. And I was just like, yeah, you're right.
She's the type of artist that I'll hear a song of hers and I won't necessarily love it, and then I'll see her perform it live and I'll fall in love.
Right, because you feel the soul.
Because I feel the soul.
Her. Right. Salt and Peppers, and you've had some time with them. Sorry, I'm old school.
Yeah,
so
I worked with Salt and Pepper when I was a kid.
Okay. Well, they weren't known for their dance, or were they?
They were known. Well, I mean, yeah. If you look back at like the Push It video,
okay.
it was
Yeah, that's
dance. That
true,
was the
yeah.
early days of hip hop.
Yeah. They were on stage. It was like a concert.
Yeah, it was a
video.
concert.
Yeah.
Spinderella was up there cutting it. But yeah, I got to dance for them when I was a kid, and it was the best because we were doing that type of dancing. This was like early days of hip hop. Crisscross, I danced for them, who sang Jump, and Salt and Pepper, and it was all that era. I got to work with a lot of amazing people. Paula Abdul at that same time when I was a kid. I think I got spoiled to the point where you're like, okay, well, how do I up my game from this? I was just really lucky. I was a really lucky kid and thankful that I was so lucky to be able to have that opportunity, especially in a time before social media where you could be discovered anywhere in the world and achieve stardom and fame on Instagram or YouTube. I had to do it the old-fashioned way, and my parents had to give up a lot and take me out to LA and chase the dream, and we made it happen.
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, learn from the best minds in the world, and connect with a community of passionate people building the best versions of themselves. Just click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.